Okay, mixed bag here. I was unable to put the camera in a position that would let you see the gap that I also see. And it also made me nervous to have the lens of the camera in directly lined up with something spinning like this, abrasive stuff on it. It could destroy the coating or damage the coating of the lens. And it's a Zeiss lens, and I'm sure it would be expensive, so I'd rather not risk that. And anyway, so it's going to have to be a case of you can watch it happen, but not from my viewpoint, not the eagle eye thing that I've tried to do in the recent videos. So the pipe itself, I waxed it and threw some of that hockey tape on these edges. There's these ridges and edges on blowfish that are delicate, and a couple of wraps around the end of the button there. So we're ready to go. I'm going to start at a very slow speed just to see what's what, and crank it up as conditions indicate. As I said, I've not used this particular rod before, and I want to get familiar with it before I do anything crazy. Also, notice the key to this, again, I described it earlier, but here it is. I'm looking down. You can't see my eyes, but they're about a foot or 10 inches directly above this spot right here. And I've got a piece of white paper, an envelope, directly below it. And the entire name of the game is to control, you even close one eye so you don't have a stereoscopic vision, and keep track of the light gap. And if you have good motor control, hand and eye coordination, you should be able to do this without screwing anything up. So that's the reason that my French wheel sits at 90 degrees from what you're used to seeing in most shops. Alrighty, well, nothing for it but to give it a shot, see what happens here. And I also, because of the dust getting slung around, this has to have the dust collector running also, so it'll be just a minute or two of motor noises and no commentary. Okay, that's enough. I think you won't see anything different even if I were to complete the entire pipe. You'd be hard pressed to see anything actually happening. It turns out that I'm comfortable with the speed that I came up with there on the first try. I guess that's around, I don't know, 300 or 400 RPM. And you can see some of the faceting type of things starting to happen here. And my only real caution is when doing something like this, the tendency is to focus, you get kind of a single-mindedness, and you're looking at one thing and not noticing where something else is. And that's when you go, uh-oh, and make a mistake. So try to keep the big picture in mind. And also, when doing anything that's a trumpet flare, the first pass, make it too flary. You want a little bit of exaggeration there. It's infinitely easier to trim that delicately, a slice at a time, than it is to say, hey, I screwed it up. That's hard to do. Yeah, you don't want to roll that in and look at it and say, oh crap, I've just put all these hours into this thing and now I destroyed the line. I rolled it in and it looks like hell. So remember, this was connected when it was originally made, and the maker ground the wood and the rubber simultaneously. So he didn't have to pay any attention to any of this kind of stuff. It was just whatever looked right, looked right. He just happens to be a master of what looks right. Anyway, so that's it. I'm going to continue this process, and then when we change the tape thickness and the disc, well, I'll probably show you where I am at that point. It's more of the same, but a more delicate version. And can't think of anything else at the moment, so calling it good, and be back in a bit. Okay, a quick addendum. As I got into the mostly between the bowl and the shank here, I turned the speed way down and felt much more comfortable, and thought that I would show you the actual, and I've since turned it up a bit, but show you the actual speed I used for the trickiest spots here in an attempt to dissuade anybody from using a full speed machine for this delicate of a shaping operation. Right now, I don't know how fast that's turning, but it's no more than about probably 100 RPM, 150 maybe. And most buffers have a natural speed of either 1800 or 3600 RPM. So the difference is huge. And here, I'll do just another, while we got the thing fired up again. And I would say that anybody with what I'll call normal hand-eye coordination can do this with practice. It mostly is just a matter of tricky tools. So anyway, that's enough of that. I just wanted you to see that this VFD business is absolutely all that. People get tired of hearing me talk about it because it seems like I'm selling them or something, and that is not the case. I just can't imagine doing a lot of the work I do without having a machine like this. So that's it. Back in a minute.